This Wednesday morning's UN Security Council meeting on the situation in Myanmar will be held behind closed doors, and that is what's proving so controversial. Human rights groups say that essentially it sends a deadly message to the government and the army of Myanmar, giving them the green light to continue killing Rohingya Muslims. The UN's human rights chief has described the situation in Myanmar as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing, and the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has written a letter to the Security Council calling on it to do more to tackle this pressing issue, which only seems to be getting worse. Now, why is this meeting being held behind closed doors? It's, according to diplomats, because China wants it to be the case. China is a main trading partner of Myanmar. Now, critics of the Security Council say that it should be ashamed for not doing more, that this meeting should be out in the open so that it sends a clear message to the government of Myanmar, and if the government doesn't listen, then the Security Council ought to take measures to impose sanctions on the government of Myanmar in order to stop these killings. Critics also say that human rights observers ought to be allowed into the country, because right now the information we're getting about the plight of Rohingya Muslims is mainly coming from stories being told to human rights observers who are in Bangladesh. Now, there was a UN Security Council meeting on this issue some 2 weeks ago, and it was also held behind closed doors. We know that the killing is continuing and that it's getting worse because now there are 370,000 or so refugees who fled into Bangladesh, and 310,000 of them fled just in the past 2 weeks alone.